Kentucky, along with more than a dozen other states, are suing the popular social media app TikTok. The suit comes as redacted portions of Kentucky's lawsuit that contain the internal communications and documents unearthed during a more than 2-year investigation into the company by various states across the country. The suit covers a range of topics, but highlights the extent to which TikTok knew how much time young users spend on the platform and how insincere it may have been when rolling out tools aimed at curbing excessive use. The suit claims the app was designed to attract and addict young users.
We're going to force them to answer for creating and pushing an app designed specifically to addict and harm Kentucky's children. TikTok is more than funny dance videos and looking at cute cats. It's a specifically and specially designed tool crafted to suck in minors, leading to depression, anxiety, altered development, and even more negative modalities.
A TikTok spokesperson says the claims are misleading and inaccurate, and that the company is proud of and deeply committed to the work that they've done to protect teens and improve their product. The unredacted complaint was sealed by a Kentucky state judge on Wednesday after state officials filed an emergency motion to seal it. So, Representative Mead, I'll start with you here. Do you agree with some of the Attorney General's sentiment there?
I do, and I appreciate what the Attorney General is starting to do. We have heard countless times from parents and teachers and counselors, medical professionals, that there are a lot of risks involved with TikTok in our youth, and I commend him for what he's trying to do here. There's also Kentucky Public Radio here recently released data showing that they had gone over some court documents. They did an analysis of that, and it showed that TikTok knew that this was addictive within 35 minutes of our youth having it in their hands. And so I do commend him for trying to protect our youth on this.
Yeah, it said that the habit moment, as TikTok would call it, would happen after 260 videos or more during the first week. Just to clarify, do either of y'all happen to use TikTok?
I don't have TikTok.
And I'll put out there, I'm 27. I don't personally use it myself. It just never quite grabbed me. But what are you all starting to see happen among, you know, the youngest generation of folks when it comes to their relationship with social media, especially with this particular app? Representative Campbell, you work in the school system. You're a little closer to this.
I do. And I really agree wholeheartedly with what Representative Mead said. And I'm happy that the Attorney General is joining the lawsuit. I believe that TikTok and I'll go out on a limb and say even other forms of social media are very detrimental to our youth. I think it is adding to some of the mental health crises that we're seeing in schools. Students who are struggling with self-image, self-confidence. I do think that part of that is attributable to TikTok. You know, one of the things that, when this lawsuit came out, when the news broke on this one, it really reminded me, it was very, very reminiscent of the tobacco settlement. It's not addictive. It's not addictive. The opioid issue, saying it's not addictive. I think what we have seen and what we're experiencing, I do think that there is some responsibility of the company to creating really some of the issues that we're seeing with our young kids, and my hope is that we'll see some guardrails go up with this lawsuit.
And before TikTok, you know, there's been plenty of others. We've heard of Vine before, the others that are out there still now, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X if you call it, YouTube. Social media is not necessarily new anymore. I was using it whenever I was in middle school, and now I'm a working professional. From the perspective of folks who've been around a lot longer than I have and seen what life was like before social media, how would you say that things have changed or been exacerbated by social media when it comes to some of the things you mentioned, just poor self-image or just affecting how you see the world as a young person growing up?
Well, first I want to say thank you for, in a kind way, telling us we're old.
I respect your wisdom.
But you're exactly right. What you see on these platforms is that they're portraying that our young men and our young women are supposed to look a certain way, to act a certain way, that popularity comes in certain ways, and that's why we're seeing the depression that we're seeing. That's why we're seeing the substance abuse that we're seeing, I think, in a lot of these cases as well. And that's why in the General Assembly the past couple of years we've tried to tackle some of this by holding these platforms accountable and also trying to make sure that our youth are protected in that way.
Quick last word.
Sure. I have a lot to say about social media. I'm not a lover of it. Maybe that is a function of my age. I do have a couple of platforms, but I am really hopeful that drawing attention to it this way, like the Attorney General is doing, I think talking about it on news programs and helping parents understand the need to actually try and limit screen time for kids. Anecdotally, I'll say my husband, who, like I said, in his 28th year teaching public schools, his kids love it when they're going to take a test and they ask if they're going to take it on paper or do they have to do it on the computer. And when he tells them that it's on paper, they get extremely excited because they are tired of screens. And I think it's incumbent on us as the adults and as the legislative body to do what we can to help the youth and make sure that our young people are not dealing with additional issues, problems, social, emotional, mental health crises that come from overuse and too much screen time.
Hopefully a silver lining there. Thank you both for your insight. We'll be right back with Point of Order.